Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people that want the best info, but just don't have the time. Get your podcast fix with the Cliff Notes versions of your favorite podcasts. No fluff, just the actionable golden nuggets. Having this much knowledge at your fingertips should be downright illegal. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with Satori Prime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Performance Enhancing Podcast. Big things happening today here. Super excited for a couple of reasons, mostly because there are a couple of people here. One is actually my brother Guy, who's been on here with me doing some beer talks here and there, so he's back with me. Guy, say hi.
Hello.
And then the other is we'll call him the underground ninja that's been in our in our corner, I'll say, for the last few months, working with us, and we're officially having a coming out party, not that kind of coming out party, today, and bringing him out here. Some of you guys may even know him. His name's Jason, and he's a badass Facebook marketer who we've been blessed to work with, and we're doing some cool things together. So I figured, hey, why not do kind of like a welcome him to the community type of thing, and we're just going to sit here and jam about Facebook and let you know what our thoughts are, where we see the market going, strategy that are working for us right now. So if marketing around Facebook is something that's important to you, today is going to probably blow a few gaskets in your brain. So Jason, what's up, buddy? Say hi.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for the intro, man. My cheeks are red now.
And your shirt is very yellow.
So I'm bright and sunny today.
That's right. Don't send any more sun to Guy, though, because California is on fire right now.
Not funny. Too soon.
Too soon. All right. So, guys, let's start with this. Jason, give people a little background on what you've been up to the last year, because you've been up to some incredible things, working with some of the biggest people in the industry. So give people a little insight about what you're about, what you've been up to, and we'll start with that.
Okay. So I own an advertising agency. We've been doing this since the end of 2009, and I had a few private clients last year that I was working with, people that nobody really knows. And they all started coming to me saying, hey, I want to do Facebook traffic. Because we weren't doing Facebook. We were doing other stuff with email drops and SEO and things like that for our clients. And so I ended up starting to explore Facebook, got into some masterminds that I paid a lot of money for, and started implementing, and things just took off. You know, we started getting clients, getting incredible results for people, turning $1 into $3 or $5 or $10, depending on the business model that they're in. And it just, once you start getting results like that for people, your name just starts flying around, and Absolutely. One relationship led to another. And so, in the last 6 months, I work with clients like Digital Marketer, Ryan Dice, Frank Kern. I've worked with you guys, and we've got great things going. So, I mean, it's, the biggest names in online marketing and Facebook are all people that are in my inner circle now. And I literally wake up every day and I'm just like, how the hell did this happen? Because I would have never thought it would ever have happened, but it can. And then if you master Facebook and you master paid media, you're a freaking golden goose.
Yeah.
So. And you guys know your stuff. And if people, listen to you guys and follow what you say, they can have the same type of success that I've had. It's available to anybody that figures this stuff out.
Absolutely. So we're gonna let the cat out of the bag a little bit later about what we got going on, just to keep people teased a little bit. But you said something really interesting, and I want to just go back to it. So Jason just said, if anybody missed it, that he was doing solo ads. He was doing other sort of media buys, didn't know anything about Facebook, okay? And then you mentioned something which I think is really powerful because we talk about it all the time. You said you entered some masterminds and paid a lot of money for those masterminds. So could you just because I think people don't understand. They're like, okay, I'm going to buy a $17 product or I'm going to buy a $20 product and I'm going to be the next millionaire online. And, the three of us know, like, I mean, give me a break. Like, it's not going to happen, but being in a mastermind and being mentored and learning from the best people and then also getting to network with the best people is probably what you would say is the reason that you're here today. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there are information products out there that are low ticket where the information is that good and the training is that good, where if you took it and really applied it and figured things out, you could become really successful. But it's going to take a long time. Yep. The mastermind and the networking and the relationships and the ability to be able to talk to other people and kind of shortcut some of the learning curve, that's what really accelerates your business growth. I mean, we're literally doing 10 times the revenue a month right now than we were 12 months ago.
Amazing. So just give people an idea so they kind of get this idea, okay? The masterminds that you said were expensive. What's expensive?
Well, just in the last year, I've paid $15K for one mastermind, $13K for another, 2 at $5K, and 1 for another $15K. So, I mean, I've spent, what is that, like $70,000 in the last year?
Yeah, if I did rough math, I think that was like almost 60 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
for education, I want to point out.
For education, exactly. Yeah. And networking. I mean, you tap into a huge network, right? Yep. So of that 60 grand, and this is the part that I think people just don't understand. And I love what you said about the info products. Yes, info products are going to get awesome results if you implement. We've created info products. You've created info products. I mean, give me a percentage off the top of your head. How many people actually do the work?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, I can tell you that pretty much half the people don't even go through the product.
Yeah.
They'll buy it. They don't even go through it.
Yeah. I would say from our experience, we've seen probably 3 to maybe 5% of people ever actually implement the stuff. And I think it's not the product's fault. In every product, I mean, Guy and I, and I'm sure you do, Jason, too, we still buy a ton of products. And we still find gems in every little thing. It's always interesting for us to see how people are marketing, what they're doing, etc. We're still picking out stuff. But ultimately what you said is it's going to take you a long, long time because you're kind of going to still be doing it on your own. And people, we all know, are inherently lazy and let themselves off the hook. Yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the one thing, I mean, I buy every product. And the thing that I used to always do is I'd go into the product, and then I would think, oh, well, I know a better way of doing this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't follow it exactly the way that they told me to. And then I wouldn't get the results. And then I would, blame the product. And then I would go try to find a different product. So what happens is like when you're in a mastermind and you've got training that's tied to the mastermind, because that's how pretty much all of them work. You go through the training, then you can ask questions to other people, and then they'll tell you if you're being a dumbass, they'll say, hey, don't do that. You're going to not get results. Do it this way.
Yeah.
So that's the huge benefit of being in it.
Yeah. I think the other benefit that I've seen from our students who have been in masterminds with us that bought the product, and most people that end up in masterminds with us that bought the product are actually like, in that 3 to 5% that actually do the work. But there's a big difference of accountability, the fact that you're there with your peers, you've paid more to be there, and you pull the value towards you. You choose not to get stuck because you get afforded to ask questions. And I think all of these things tied in together are the difference maker between just having a product that you're going to go through on your own and actually being in a group, like you said, that call you on your shit and like actually make you do the work.
Oh, yeah.
And let's also talk about the alternative, which is what most people are doing. Yeah, they're investing in like a $47, $300 type product, like we offer, or they're going at it alone and trying to figure it out. So most people, and we say this distinction all the time, we said stop looking at what you're doing like an expense, start looking at like an investment. Because if you're learning something from the money being spent and your education's going up because of it, then you're investing. Now you can go invest $50,000 in Facebook ads, and if you've never played in that realm, that $50,000 investment is going to get you not nearly as far down the line as investing $50,000 into a mastermind. and using that money to properly put yourself from somebody who's just getting started to literally like at the cutting edge of what people are doing on Facebook, like that, probably like a, I don't know, 90 to 120 day period is realistic, but you'll be doing what the top people in the world are doing immediately, getting what the top people, the results that the top people in the world are getting immediately, and that'll completely offset any investment cost anyway. So a lot of people have this like big thing, like they can't even imagine spending that kind of money, right? Like you basically spent a college tuition this year to get yourself a mastery in Facebook marketing, but then look how far you've gone and pushed yourself in just 1 year by doing that, where we know plenty of people who've spent tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook and are getting, minuscule results in comparison. So
yeah,
it's kind of like give and take on that.
To give people kind of an idea when we're talking about these numbers, I just don't think people understand. So I want to bring it down to like the real numbers here. How much would you say we've spent on our investing in Facebook to learn and get to the place that we are today?
With ad spend?
With ad spend, with clients' ad spend, etc.
I'd say we're probably getting real close to the $1 million mark.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Jason, just to give people an idea.
Well, right now I'm managing about $60,000 a month in ad spend for clients.
There you go.
On top of it myself, I'm running, several thousand a month myself for my own stuff. So, and that was one thing I was going to piggyback on what Guy said, because I actually just got back yesterday from a 3-day mastermind I paid $5,000 for. And, the guys in the group, they got to leverage my knowledge. So when we were talking about landing page conversion in particular, and I showed them our control page, which works across every market we've tested it in. And we've literally spent over $150,000 of traffic going to that page to get all the elements of it dialed in. And those guys, I showed them exactly what to do with it. So they basically got $150,000 of value out of their $5,000 that they paid. Yeah. And that's what you get out of masterminds is you get, everybody will share with you. Nobody's got any problem sharing. There's no hidden secrets in those masterminds. It's all about helping each other because, when I helped those guys with that, every single stinking one of them was asking me to become my client by the end of that mastermind. Mm-hmm. It's all about value, and everybody's willing to help each other out.
Yeah. I think the other thing. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that the other thing, I always see between people who are doing really well and people who are just struggling to figure it out is the people who are trying to figure it out always want the right answer. As if there's just one right way to do everything. Everybody who's doing well just understands one simple concept. It's all about testing. Mm-hmm. And they also understand that you're going to probably lose money before you start making money. But again, we don't look at it like a loss. We look at it like, here's where we're going to invest to figure out how to do this in a manner that's going to allow us to predictably make money. And once we have that, right, we know that sending traffic from this place to this offer is going to create this kind of result. That what's predictable with marketing, and that's a beautiful part about marketing, is statistics really don't change all that much. So the variance is very small. So once you have that, it really does become that ATM machine concept, right? Like, what if you could give $1 and get $3 back? And that's how we start creating these massive results. From there, it's all about scaling, right? And then that's probably the next challenge with Facebook is scaling. But if there's anything I've noticed actually since the new ad platform came out, is that scaling has become easier. I was like, one of the big things we always had challenge with was once we got something grooving was like spending the, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day and keeping statistics the same. I'm actually noticing right now the trend has been that really I'm just turning up the budget where before I had to figure out these like crazy ass maneuvers to try to spend more money.
Bro, so I want to ask a follow-up question on that, but I just want to kind of wrap up what we spoke about before, which is right here, I just want to point out that right here on this podcast right now, and if you're watching on video, like a panel, you got people that have spent over $2 million on testing ads and funnels on Facebook. Now, if you think that you can do that by spending even $10,000 on your own, well, God bless you. But we've all done this, and we've all spent tons of money on education and masterminds, etc., because we know that when we do that, the money comes back tenfold. Because the education and the level of knowledge and competence and confidence that we get from these things are really, really massive.
Well, like in riff off what you just said, you were talking about we'll take $10,000 to figure it out, because we know what once we win, we can make that money back plus 10x on it. So I think what we tell our students a lot recently is ultimately what we've developed is a threshold for pain that's just much, much bigger than most people, right? Because most people look at the money leaving and they have this experience of like pain and stress and overwhelm and, oh my God, what's going to happen? We're just sitting there going, it's just a matter of time, right? Until we get this going. Look at everyone nodding their head so you can see the agreement. We just know it's just a matter of time. But again, most people are overlooking the very basics of marketing. Number one, it's simple fifth grade math, right? Basically. Mm-hmm. Just look at your baseline. What are you spending to acquire a customer? Are you making enough money to cover that and make a profit for yourself? It's really like fifth grade math. Anyone can understand that. Number two, are you tracking your results? Because your results are basically having you collect the data that's allowing you to make the decisions to see when I change X, here's the variance that I'm getting. And if that variance is going in a positive or a negative direction, if it's going positive, keep making those changes. And that's it. So like I remember when we first came out with Facebook Niche Profits, we started working on that project last June, July. We thought it was going to be a 30-day project because we got used to putting out products real fast. 30 days, like let's pop it, we make some money and then we kind of like move on to the next thing. We've been working on that project nonstop. It's May of the year after. So you're talking almost 10 to 11 months now of optimizing one funnel and sending traffic to it nonstop since October of last year, basically. Like we really know what we're doing, right? And that's the other thing. People think they can dip and dabble, have it be a hobby. Like Jason, could you ever consider not being on Facebook marketing every single day?
No.
No way, right?
You look at it every day.
You have to do it every day. Just like if you want to be an NFL star or play in the NBA or be masterful at anything, they're doing it every day. Because the thing is, what I keep telling people is marketing is pattern recognition. Life is pattern recognition. If you're getting specific results, but you're not noticing the pattern that's causing that result, and you're not stopping the pattern, what's predictable is you're going to get the same result. That's all of life. Relationships, marriages, friendships, everything is pattern, right? So marketing is the same thing. It's pattern recognition. But if you're not on Facebook every day, then you can't possibly see the pattern the way that I do.
Yeah.
No way. So when we look and I wake up on a Tuesday and suddenly what was happening for the last 4 months, Tuesday is completely different than every other day. I'm like, holy shit, what happened? And I go through the entire funnel, my entire campaign, and I find where the leaky hole is. But if I wasn't on Facebook every single day, I couldn't do that. And I wouldn't see the changes that Facebook's making, because Facebook's not sending out like a TPS report like it's Tuesday. Today we've made this change to the algorithm. Be aware. They don't give a fuck because they just want to make money. So, but if again, we notice the changes and we can hypothesize on what they're doing because we were there for the last 3 years seeing them make all the changes.
Okay, so let's try to riff on that for a second. The last big change that everyone is like, oh my God, Facebook's dead, blah, 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 that people are aware of, let's say. I'm sure that there's, for us, like there's a change every day. But the last big change happened when organic reach tanked, right? Everyone was like, I paid for my fan page. Now only whatever it is, they came up with some arbitrary number, like 16% of people are even seeing my posts, blah, blah, blah. So Jason, to you, we saw a slew of people leave Facebook just because of that thing, right? Which for us as marketers were like, good riddance. But what have you seen since that shift? And if you can give people an idea so they understand like how dynamic it is to be a true Facebook marketer, like something happens and then we figure something out. So can you tell people a little bit like what you saw shift and how you kind of worked with that shift?
Yeah, so like the big way to overcome that is to post more content to your fan page. And then you just have to stagger that content. So that way, like 16% of your people are seeing this post, another 16% are seeing this post, another 16% are seeing this post. Or you can just use the boost the post feature and spend $5 and get more people seeing it. As long as you know your numbers, because it all comes back to knowing your numbers, like Guy said. As long as you know your numbers, then you should be able to spend money strategically and have it turn into a profit for you. So if you know a post when people see it, you get a certain percentage of people that are going to click it. When they go over to the page that they're on, a certain percentage of them are going to buy. When you know those numbers, then you can say, yeah, I can spend $5 because I'm going to get 100 clicks and I'm going to have 2 people buy for $100. So I'm going to make money. So it's worth it. Yeah, you did have to pay for those fans, and it sucks that Facebook changed it, but it is what it is. So you just have to work with it.
So we keep saying, know the numbers, know the numbers, know the numbers. And people are probably going out there like, what numbers? Like, what am I supposed to pay attention to? So either one of you guys, when we say know the numbers, what's the skill that we're talking about here?
Yeah, I'll go into that, guy. Because like the one thing I did want to say just before I get into that is the high-level media buyers, the guys that there's literally dudes spending millions of dollars a day on ads out there. And these high-end guys, they call it buying data in the beginning because it is an investment. What you're trying to do is buy the data to the funnel so that you do know what the numbers are, okay? And there's a few key metrics that you're looking for on pretty much any funnel. You need to know your CPC, which is your cost per click. You need to know your EPC, which is your earnings per click. I mean, those are really the only 2 big things you need to know. And so if your funnel is converting, then as long as your EPC is more than your CPC, you win.
And there's Facebook marketing, everybody.
That's well.
And that's it. But when you're measuring a funnel and you're buying that data, you're going to look at other things like, hey, what's the click-through rate on your ad? What's the click-through rate on your landing page? What's the conversion rate of people that hit the offer? Because you got to use all those numbers to kind of back things through, and then you kind of just work back to whatever ROI you want to get at. So let's just say you've dialed everything in, and on your particular funnel you want to make 100% ROI, and so for every click that you send to the top end of the funnel, you're making $1. Then you can't spend more than 50 cents a click to hit your ROI goal. So you just set your bid at a max of 50 cents a click, and then you pump up your budget to whatever you're comfortable spending each day. And then it should predictably stay there. But like Guy also said, you have to watch because Facebook changes things, or maybe your server goes down, or somebody in Pakistan changed something in Infusionsoft. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to watch that stuff all the time. And then you just keep driving it until the offer doesn't work anymore, because offers will burn out, like I was alluding to. That you guys have been, pretty lucky because Facebook Niche Profits has been a successful offer for almost a year. Like, a lot of people have hard time getting an offer to run for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that all boils down to the market.
Yeah. Part of it is, I think, what I've noticed with us at least, and a lot of the feedback we get is, and I think this really just comes from Ilan and I doing a lot of personal development coaching, is that we're good teachers. And a lot of people are really good implementers, and they're not good at giving away what they know. And we get tons of emails saying, like, this is, some of the best education I've gotten because I could actually consume it. I'm not just like watching theory. But I was going to say, one of the things one of the most common questions I get is like, what should be my CTR? And I personally think that's one of the most overhyped numbers, because it doesn't matter. I've had super low CTRs and super high ROIs on campaigns. Also, there's no, when I always try to give people baseline numbers, especially for beginners, because they're obsessed with knowing this, like, what should it be? What should it be? And I said, I don't know, because every campaign, literally every campaign from every keyword is almost its own entity within itself, because that traffic source is responding to that marketing however the people in that psychology respond to that type of offer, right? So it's like, it's not even, you can give me 5 different keywords, and each one of those keywords is going to have a completely different CTR, completely different CPC, and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people take, they what Ilan started calling shooting from the hip. They look at a niche, they logically think like, all right, how do people in this niche think? They don't really do the research to understand the culture of that niche, how that niche speaks, like the specialized terminology that niche uses, and a lot of different things that come along with any culture of community of people together, right? Because all communities have their own culture. And when the more you understand that, the better you can target your marketing and understand how they want to be spoken to, what are their trigger points, stuff like that. But again, if you're not doing the baseline stuff where you even have like, all right, I put up my first ad, it's roughly doing, like you said, 50% CPC, seeing, at least a 1.5% CTR most of my ads, at least get that number so you have some kind of starting ground to know, all right, this is where it is even without doing research. Now let's apply the research. And then you should start seeing it move in a positive direction. So you can do both. Ilan and I tend to like to start with the research and at least get like the base demographics that we think we're going after, stuff like that. And then actually once we get good results, then we'll step out of that demographic and maybe start playing with some others and see if we can even get close to those results. But that's how we play it. Yeah, I don't know what your process is. We used just to quickly wrap it all up. We used to throw a lot of stuff together and just see if can we get a result with this ad, even throwing it at a big audience, and maybe not necessarily to make money, just to see if we can make sales, period. Because sometimes it's not even worth investing your time into something, really. So we would just throw a lot of stuff together and be like, all right, can we even make a sale, even if it's at a sometimes substantial loss? And then we'll start breaking it down into smaller parts and figure out, okay, what exactly did create the result out of all that big sloppy mess? But we'll find the needle, right? And that's what tracking does. It allows you to find the needle, and then we'll just slam that needle, and we'll always make our money back. So that's kind of, that used to be our process. Now we do start a lot more granular than we used to.
I just want to say something here so people understand. When we're talking knowing your numbers, I would venture to say, and you guys can chime in on this whenever you want, but I would venture to say that most people, when they say, I want to learn Facebook marketing, there's two things that most info products or most things are going to teach you, which is one, basically how to post on Facebook, how to set up your page, kind of that basic stuff. And then the other side of it is like putting ads up, putting newsfeed ads up, dark posts, whatever that stuff is, right? Like that. I think the part that almost every info product misses, because I think it's very difficult to portray unless you're talking specifically about, like Guy said, a specific business, like this is your business, your demographic, etc., is the two other pillars, which are the research, which is everything that happens before, and then the tracking, which is what we've been talking about right now. So we'll go into research in a little bit, but the tracking, and if the only thing you're basing your tracking on is CTR, like I pointed out to, and you don't know, to what Jason was saying, how your funnel is converting or how your offer is converting and what your lifetime customer value is over a 30, 60, 90-day window, what your cost per click is and what your earning per click is, then basically what you are doing with Facebook is literally flushing your money down the toilet.
Yeah.
It's playing roulette, period. I've spoken to guys who have multiple six and sometimes even seven-figure businesses, and I ask them a very simple question. So what is the thing that you do or did this past month that you can repeat that's going to make you that money? And the problem is when people start spending money, they just make money. And then they have no idea what it is that actually created that result. And for people like us on the panel here right now, I mean, we track down to the most minuscule thing, and that data is what gives us power. That's what makes us smart Facebook marketers. Granted, we spent $2 million trying to figure this stuff out, but that tracking, we don't just use Facebook tracking. We all have third party, and we all look for all these different metrics and all these different niches about different things. So, Jason, I mean, how long did it take you to kind of get that kind of mindset where you're like, tracking is the key. This is the data. This is everything I need.
Well, I'm a really highly analytical person, and so for me, it just came naturally. I wanted to know what was making sales. Justin Brook has this saying that I just love. He says, "CTR is a liar and a thief."
Yeah.
You see that on all these basic courses will tell you, oh yeah, you just judge your ad on your CTR. You cannot do that, because you could have an ad that has got a great CTR, you're burning through a bunch of money, and it doesn't produce any sales because it's not pre-framing the person right, or you got some weird image that people are just clicking on because it's a novelty, and all you're doing is lining Zuckerberg's pocket with that thing. So you have to know, is it making sales? And then to go kind of back to Guy's point, because people want all these benchmarks. Like they think, well, hey, if I know where I'm supposed to be at with this, then all I got to do is try to get there, and then I'm going to make money. That's not always the case. So your CTR needs to be where it should be for you to get the CPC goal that you have, because you can have a really low CTR and still make money. But what will happen is Facebook will start to throttle that ad because they want to show ones with a higher CTR. Sure. So all you got to do is keep tweaking that ad until you get your CTR up to the point where you can get enough clicks to use your budget and still stay at that cost per click you need to be at in order to reach your ROI goals.
Yeah, 100%. And what I'm hearing from both of you guys, just saying a little bit differently, is you kind of work backwards. Like you have an idea of the ROI you want. You have an idea of what the earnings per click that you want, and then you kind of map everything to try to get to that number, and that's your target number, yeah?
Yep. So the first thing you need to do, like Guy said, is you got to just figure out if it's going to sell. Is the targeting that you're using, is the ad that you're using, is it going to sell? And then once it does sell, then you look at, okay, how much did it cost me to make that sale? Okay. And then you look at how much do I earn from each sale? Now, then you can see, okay, well, it cost me more money than I earn on that sale. Now, what do I need to be at with these other numbers in order to get that low enough where I'm making enough money on it? Yep. And that's when you start tweaking different things like your CPC and your ad to get your CTR up. All of that stuff determines what you're going to do beforehand. It's all data driven. Otherwise you're just pissing in the wind the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was going to just say, exactly, we're talking about tracking it. I always think of, like, if I'm not tracking, it's like flying an airplane without the instruments on, like in the dark without any instruments on. Yeah. That plane's fucking going to crash. Like, you're not going to get it where you want it to go. It's not making it to its destination. So I couldn't agree more. Like, a lot of times I really won't look at the cost. I'll give myself a time limit. I'm like, all right, over the next 24 to 48 hours, let's just put up an ad, see if it sells. And yeah, the cost of it might suck ass, but I want to know that it's possible to get a result, period, before I'm going to go and expend my time to optimize. So, like, I'll give an example. We've been running a campaign really successfully, what I would consider really successfully, for 2 months. And we were doing leads at like $10 to $12. But for the type of offer that it is, the back-end sales are extremely high. I mean, like thousands of dollars per sale. So my pain threshold on something like that is much larger than like a $97 payday.
Bro, I just want to stop you there for 1 second, because I want people to understand this. This is really, really important, and this kind of ties in everything we spoke about. Guy and I know that on that offer, the average customer value to us is $4,000. $4,000 average, okay? Now, Guy, knowing that, what does that give us the ability to then go out and do with our marketing?
Right. So really good that you put that context in. Guys, so look, for us to create a customer, even at $3,000 investment of marketing, we still come out on top with $1,000 profit to our pocket, right? So yes, the gross revenue is $4,000 minus the expenses. It's only $1,000, but how many people would be like, wow, I made $1,000 on the sale online and it's automated. I didn't have to do anything except for turn up a campaign. That's amazing, right? So again, my threshold for creating what I call a quality lead is significantly higher. Now, most people don't know the difference between a quality and a not quality lead. It's very simple, guys. The quality leads are the ones that convert, right? So if you've generated 100 leads to pretty much any offer and you've yet to make a sale, you're not probably generating good leads, because it's industry standard. Let's say 1 to 3% is like low ball industry standard conversions, meaning if you haven't made 1 to 3 sales on the 100 leads that you've collected at anything, most likely it's not going to make a sale. And where most people try to get out of that hole is like, all right, so now I'm in a money hole. And then they'll go throw another, whatever X amount of dollars at it to generate another 100 leads to try to pull themselves out of that hole, and they go deeper in the hole. What we do is we create a lot of different campaigns with a lot of different keywords. So even if one is failing miserably like that, you're basically hedging your bets because you're knowing that you're going to find a winner. Most people go into a campaign, they pick like 3 keywords, right? And then like none of them convert, and all they do is like throw more money at those keywords, like praying that the sale will finally come through. It just doesn't work that way. We get much more expansive with it, and then we bring it down. So we might pick like 40 keywords, put them into a lot of different campaigns, and like bring it down to like 3 or 5 keywords that are really clicking. So just to go back to my example, yeah, we were doing like $10 to $12 leads, but we were making sales consistently where I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good campaign, but I want to get my costs down. I spend the next month optimizing the hell. I mean, I don't even know how many variations of ads I went through. I want to say around 15 to 20. You ever take different pictures, a little bit different ad copy, and that's the thing, when you're working with a campaign over time, you like build a relationship with the campaign. That's the only thing I could say. And it's like, just like anything else, when you stick with it, you start just seeing little things. You're like, how did I not notice that before? Just like anything else, like you're playing a sport or a puzzle or anything, and it's like, oh, it should have been so obvious that those pieces go together. I've been looking at those pieces for 4 days, right? Suddenly it's like you just have these, you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I didn't think of that. And you look at like the language and why this is impacting people a specific way. So like I would make these little changes and see constantly positive. Here we are a month later of doing all that optimization. I'm down to $4 a lead, right? For the same campaign, sticking with the same exact results that I had before. Ilan, our cost came down from what, like cost per action from about $430 to about $250 in that time frame. That's amazing, right? So now I still have my $4,000 cost, like conversions on the back end, but I would have never known that had I not been comfortable with like, knowing my numbers, knowing that value of that customer. It gives you all the right in the world to start spending money in a different way.
And on that bombshell, we're going to stop part 1 of this hangout between Jason, Guy, and myself. Can you guys tell how much we freaking love Facebook marketing? I'm listening back and I'm just kind of thinking, wow, we are such Facebook nerds. But you know what? It makes a big difference for people, and I think hopefully our passion for it comes through. And if you're someone out there right now that is struggling with your Facebook marketing, you've bought products, you have a business, you're trying to get it off the ground, wherever you find yourself, if the information you heard so far is going to make a profound difference for you and your business, then here's what I want to offer you. Jason, myself, and my brother, we're going to find this out in part 2, are actually putting together a personal mastermind for people like yourself looking to master Facebook marketing. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, right below this video, you're going to see a link. That link is going to take you to an application page, a small questionnaire that lets us know where you are in your business with your Facebook marketing and if Satori Prime and Jason are the right fit to take you to the next level. Now, if you're listening to this on Stitcher or iTunes, what you need to do is head over to satoriprime.com/podcasts. You need to find episode number 38. And in the resource guide, you're going to see a link for our Facebook application. Fill out the application. Either my assistant or myself personally will be in touch with you to schedule you in for a short 15-20 minute call to see if you do in fact qualify to be in our next mastermind group. But again, if you're just struggling on figuring out how to crack this Facebook code, if you're struggling to get your business off the ground, if you're struggling to generate leads consistently and sales consistently, then this is something you definitely want to take a look at. Buying another product and going through it and learning some other BS technique that will be gone in 3 months is not what's going to get you to the promised land. Working with someone like Jason, myself, or my brother is definitely going to be the key difference maker in whether you succeed the next 6 months or keep doing more of the same. So with that, again, right below the video, if you're watching there, click on that link. And if not, head to satoriprime.com/podcasts, head over to episode 38, click the Facebook questionnaire, get that filled out. We'll be in touch with you shortly and get you rolling. And with that, I'll end part 1. Make sure you catch part 2 in a couple of days. And until then, have an amazing day, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Performance Enhancing Podcast. We've taken this pep talk and created a custom action guide so you know exactly what action steps to take now to grow your business. Just head over to satoriprime.com/podcast and download it for free. Also, please leave a comment and rate this podcast on iTunes. It'll help us get the word out. Thanks for listening. Now, go and implement. We'll see you next time.